So last time we met, we started off with this magnificent and odd entrance by this mini kobold army and the announcement of this Sir Laertes who rode in on a giant centipede followed by a Leonin that we now know as Artemis Starcaller. They came forward aiding you in your kind of semi-tense battle simply because of your states of exhaustion and whatnot against these flail snails. However, Sephel was able to scoop up the egg from its lava holdings before... I don't think you got hit once by these guys, did you?
I did not.
I got
stunned, but I didn't take any damage.
Got stunned by the brilliant lights emitting from them, and with the help of Laertes, Artemis, and Scylla, you managed to dispatch them all, and with the offer of food, healing, and rest, you have all joined Sir Laertes and Lord Artemis Starcaller on the journey back to the Kingdom of Ember in the small city of Dimcairn. And so you have entered into this hidden passageway leading you down, and eventually you come, as you hear like the calls and cheers of... does anybody here speak Draconic, by the way?
Nah.
No.
I do.
But you do.
Who are you?
Who are
How dare you?
you? You hear these kind of guttural and odd, but kind of scary language being spoken. But you pass through another kind of guarded portcullis. You see that behind like the small tunnel, there's a kobold that is like holding on to a chain, kind of keeping it raised. And eventually you lead into this kind of smaller opening to which you see a couple tunnels to the north, to the south, and to the east for looking at our Roll20 map here. These tunnels that you find yourselves in, while nice, are more akin to burrowed tunnels. They do not carry the same kind of refinement that you saw within Gracklestug, or if any of you are familiar with Dwarven architecture to begin with before you were kidnapped down here. However, it still holds a warmth and coziness to it, more akin to a home versus something more grand. And Sir Laertes has another kobold take his giant centipede off down to the tunnel in the south, and he turns to you all and goes, "I suppose you should be wanting rooms, and we should gather a couple of our attending physicians to look over what looks to be quite serious burns upon your unconscious friends. Would this be fitting to you before we gather in the great feast hall?"
We will accept whatever care you are offering, but we would like to stay as a group.
Well, of course. No, there are a collection of rooms up there towards the north, near our smithy as well. You will have privacy amongst yourselves, but you will all be close. They are newly appointed rooms, as my lord Artemis Starcaller here mentioned that we should make such places for noble guests, as you all are to us. Please, if you will follow me. And
Sephel, we don't have money for this.
Yeah, I might have like misclicked the Holiday Inn instead of like the Best Western, and I
told you the Motel 8 was best.
I'm just too awkward to correct it at this point. I'll put it on a credit card. It's fine. We'll figure this out later.
No, we don't have a nice credit limit.
Well, we'll make do. I'll take out a second mortgage.
A second mortgage on our bullshit.
So fast in your relationship. My goodness.
When Daddy Indigo died, Scylla had to step up.
Oh, damn.
I don't
Damn.
ever want to hear those words out of your mouth again. My goodness.
Say it again, but slower.
No.
Yes. Oh, God. All right. So, Laertes leads you northward, kind of pointing things out as you go. The first kind of hall you come to, and this little depression you see is filled with arms and armaments, and he goes, this is a small arms stock room in case we should ever come in attack, and those in the feast hall could gather here to arm themselves. Do not worry, though, we will not require any of your weapons. You are, of course, free to keep them about you. And as he points, as you kind of come to this little cross section here farther north, there's a tunnel leading forth, and you hear what sounds like the ringing of metal on metal, and you hear grunts and cries, and he goes, that is our forge held by the triplets, Hilda, Trilda, and Gilda. They are great smiths in their own right. And then this way, and he leads you kind of to the east and to the north, and eventually he shows you down this very long hall with multiple stone doorways, to which he goes, please have any pick of a room you should desire. You are welcome to double bunk. It seems the two of you, he's looking at Sephel and Scylla, seem to be an item, yes? Please feel free to do as you please there.
Well, No.
There's too much to unpack there. I have tentacles, she has gills. It wouldn't work out.
Yes, you are
Yes.
both creatures
And,
of the sea.
um,
Yes. It is natural.
I also think I believe I'm 3 times her age.
No judgment. To each
Yeah.
their own.
There should be.
I am very grateful for everything that you have done thus far. I more so wanted to share a room so that we would not be apart from our group. Not that we are not grateful, but, well, we don't know quite what this place is, and I certainly don't want to get lost.
I
course.
don't mean to look a gift horse in the mouth. However, this all seems incredibly altruistic. You have, I mean, for the awkwardness of admittance, saved our lives, taken us into your secret society, home, whatever this is to you.
The Kingdom of Ember, the city of Dimcairn.
And are offering us care and board and nourishment. And you've asked nothing of us. Forgive me for being skeptical. It's just very unlike any civilization we've encountered down here thus far.
Oh, well, he's kind of looks puzzled for a moment, and he looks over at you, Starcaller, and then back at the others, and he goes, well, I'm sorry that you have been not had quite a, he's like struggling for words, pleasant time here in the Underdark. Who could have treated you with such horrible hospitality?
The Drow, the Kuatoa, the Durgar, the Deep King. Are you not? I mean, not to mention demons and princes. And are you not aware with what's going on in general?
Well, we've heard tales of drow activity moving about, and of course we have met an occasional grey dwarf. And, well...
Darrow as well, I forgot the Darrow. Yeah, they were nasty little fuckers.
Yes, no, there is one that comes through every once in a while, a very odd particular fellow. What does he call himself? Andy! He calls himself Andy.
Oh, yes. Dear God.
Yes, he's quite an interesting bloke. But, no, please, we truly ask nothing. As my Lord Starcaller here could probably attest, we came upon him, myself and the Scale Guard, when he was in dire need, and, well, us kobold kind of are of smaller stature, and, well, we found it better to band together and offer aid when we can, for friendship brings greater chance of survival than anything else. And so, if you may help us in surviving and thriving and continuing to expand our peaceful kingdom, then you are, of course, welcome.
Aye, it is just as he says. I was at my wit's end when Sir Laertes found me, and they've took me in these last few months. I have known warm meals, the warmth of the hearth, and true comradeship in arms. It is not so out there. I, too, have seen the coldness of these dark tunnels. But even here, there is a burning heart of valor and truth.
That and the buxom wench Beatrice, I know she favors you, Starcaller.
Oh, there is you dog!
Oh, please, no. Pick your rooms. If you would require greater lodgings or connections, I'm sure we can have some miners come in and open up the rooms for your sake.
That, while again appreciated, whatever you have to offer should be more than sufficient. Thank you again for all of your help.
But of course. And when you are ready, please feel free to join us in the feast hall, where we may introduce you to our king when you are, of course, ready. Do you require anybody to wait and lead the way, or shall you just follow the smells of great food and drink?
I think we'll find our way.
Very well, then. Starcaller, if you would like to show them to any of the rooms, you are free to. Otherwise, I will see you in the feast hall.
Well, I will see you there, sir. Come, my new friends. Let me show you the way. And I'll start walking north towards the guest rooms.
A physician for our friend would be ideal as well, once we've seen where we will be staying. Scylla will follow.
Yes, of course. We will have a healer sent over immediately.
Starcaller, you know that the healer is the quote-unquote buxom wench Beatrice that Laertes kind of hinted at. Yes.
Excellent. I'll show them up to one of the rooms. Seems like they all wanted to shack up together, so we'll get them up to whatever one seems largest.
Okay. Yeah. Any one of those places you guys can find, they are all empty. These are the rooms that he had mentioned that they had carved out specifically for new guests within the city of Dimcairn.
Excellent. Yeah, I'll open them up. And please know you can trust the word of Sir Laertes. The halls of King Balitaire are a safe place, or as safe as you can be, beneath the rock here.
Starcaller, would you, if we were to meet this king of the Kingdom of Ember, are there any, anything that we should know ahead of time, perhaps about the appropriate titles, or is king acceptable? Do those kneel in his presence? I would like to be respectful.
Indeed. When you first see the king, it is respectful to bend the knee. Again, all that is here beneath the rock is his domain, and you should respect him for his hospitality as well as his strength. Besides that, King Balitaire or Your Highness will absolutely suffice. He is a good, fair, and quite righteous a man. Or a kobold, as it were.
And as for the feast, what are people eating?
Well,
Valid question.
Got some fine snail meats from the hunt today, and we'll see what other delicacies have been gathered. It's a lot of meat. Mostly meat. Almost exclusively meat.
Great. And would this meat come from what? Typically.
Whatever beasts they have come across.
Just checking.
Do you have dietary restrictions? that should be,
Oh,
tended to?
certainly not. I have been eating much hardtack.
No, then you will delight in fine, sometimes slightly slimy meats and delicious tuber vegetables.
Thank you.
Well seasoned, I can tell. And Sir Leotres was quite in earnest when he spoke about the shield and armor that can be fashioned. The Forge sisters are true wonder workers.
I'm grateful. Then I say we heal up, rest up, and head to the feast.
Excellent. May I take a look at your injured friend? I have some skill in the healing arts.
I think Scylla's like super hesitant, and she like slowly nods and then like gestures, but she's like glued to your side.
Yeah, absolutely. Artemis is going to step up. Can I give her a once over of like a medicine check or something like that?
Yeah, absolutely. Go for it.
That's a 14.
Okay. You see that she is covered, the majority of her is covered in these very bad burn scars, as which you see a few of them are definitely going to hinder some of the movement and dexterity within her hands and her legs. But you think if perhaps with a little bit of time with either Beatrice or someone capable of casting lesser restoration and some other helpful kind of curative aids, she could be eventually brought back up to her once capable condition.
Next, I'll bend low and I will lay on hands of the 5 HP variety to, kind of like using the cure disease function to kind of ward off any possible infection that might work its way into the burn. I'll do that a few times, and then thank you. I will return with Madame Beatrice, who will be able to do more ample healing.
I'm grateful. Thank you.
Is there anything else I can produce for you?
Sephel?
I think I just need about a week's worth of rest. But other than that, I shall be fine. Thank you again for all of your help.
It is my pleasure. It is the duty of a knight. But I wax on. I will return. And I'll go off and find Beatrice.
Okay. Sephel and Scylla and Stool, you're now left alone in this room. Are you guys doing anything? Is there any kind of conversation that occurs now that you're left alone in this place?
Sephel, I can't help but feel that... Well, they showed us where their armory was. It wasn't locked.
No. They also... was clearly a secret passageway that isn't meant to be seen by any tunnel goers, and they let us right in. They're very trusting. I don't necessarily... I'm not so much worried about them being mistrustworthy. But this level of naivete makes me concerned. They may just let anybody through the door.
Well, I do not think they eat people.
Well, I mean, I do. So, if
Well-
that was a deal breaker...
Well,
And then, Indigo did that one time. And, and that vampire creature.
I would say it's more about the acquisition of the meal than
Sure.
about the meal itself.
No, absolutely. No, this isn't going to be a situation where we are dinner.
Yeah, well, that was my initial concern.
No, that's fair.
Well, why don't you rest? I will continue to keep watch for a time.
Sure. I should only need a few hours or so, but I don't know the timeline in which they plan to be back, so I will get in as much rest as I can. I do have some interesting things I wish to share eventually that I was able to scrounge up in my time alone in the cathedral. But that's excitement for later. I need to rest.
And so you shall.
Don't start talking like him. And I'll just cross my legs under me and lean against the wall and try to rest a little bit.
Okay. Stool kind of takes up a similar kind of spot and slumps down to the floor. Not too much longer, Scylla, you hear a knock at the door as Starcaller reappears with a very, very large and full-figured kobold appears behind him, just staring at him with like, oh my god, like dreamy goo eyes.
She's got the fuck me eyes.
Yeah. Like, Starcaller, are you reciprocating this? Has there been a history there, or is she just kind of like pining after you still?
Oh, I mean, there's been some lonely nights around the campfire for sure.
Okay.
Or I guess not so lonely nights.
All right. Yeah. Beatrice is like, I want to repeat. That's Starcaller. He had me calling.
Calling for the stars, man.
Yeah.
All over the stars.
Those heavens, they heard. And do you say anything to Beatrice? Because Beatrice doesn't even like enter, or even pay attention to Scylla when the door is opened.
Fair lady Beatrice, here are our new companions here in the Kingdom of Ember. You'll find, I'm sorry, Scylla, what was the name of your friend?
Sue.
Yes,
And she gestures to the bed.
Sue has been gravely injured, but I believe with your careful ministering, she will be quite well.
Scylla, you look over at Beatrice, and she's just staring daggers at you. And then she looks over at the unconscious form of Sue, who's like, still has most of her modesty and everything, but of course, like, her arms and legs have been exposed. And she raises her eyebrow, and she like slowly turns back at Artemis, like, and then she marches in, and she's just like, I will take care of it. Don't you worry. And
I knew I could count on you.
And she proceeds over to the bed where Sue is laid out, and she has this large, thick, kind of leathery bag, and she starts pulling out what is it? What's the word I was looking for? Salves, thank you, and poultices and the like, and she begins kind of fussing over Sue, and you can see every once in a while, like, she turns back to her bag, she pulls out a book, and she seems to be working through spells and other remedies to take care of Sue. And she kind of looks up at you, Scylla, as the other two are kind of unconscious, and she goes, is it all right if I work in here?
Yes, please. Whatever you need to do. This individual is extremely important to me and to the rest of us. And it seems as though you have emotional ties to Starcaller, and I would appreciate it.
Oh, he should be so lucky. Do not worry. I will take care of your friend here, your close companion. I can tell there is a lot between the two of you.
There is. Thank you. She's clueless.
Yeah, she just gives you like the up and down, like, and kind of like continues about her small work here. At one point, she actually like pulls out a small knife. She's like, I will have to make a couple of small cuts just to make some new healing, some new skin that will not hold her back. Is that all right?
Scylla's gonna stand on the other side of the bed, and she looks at her, and then I think she just like slowly nods, but she's like watching like a hawk.
Starcaller, would you be so kind as to bring some nice beverages and perhaps some cheese and roast vegetables back in here? I think that would be most kind to calm everybody down.
Ah, but of course, Lady Beatrice, it shall be so.
Thank you, sweetheart. And she once looks at you, Scylla, and then goes forward, and you see she's very, very quick, very deft, and before too long you see, with a couple of spells added into the mix, that Sue, while not completely restored to the way that she once looked, is far better than she was. And Beatrice kind of comes over after the food has been delivered to the four of you, and she kind of pats your arm. She goes, I do not know how much time she might need to recover within the mind, but her body should be just fine, so don't you worry now. And she pats you and walks out the door, leaving the four of you there.
Yeah, I think Scylla's a lot more relaxed now, seeing that, because it's very clear that like Sue's doing a lot better and that they have been helping.
Yeah.
Is Starcaller still there?
He's making his way back with a few tankards of ale and like a tray of meats and cheeses and vegetables.
Do you prefer to go by Starcaller?
My mother was the only one who truly called me Artemis. Yes, Starcaller will do just fine.
Starcaller, then. I had a friend who taught me about the stars.
Ah, I see. You have heard of them, but not seen them, I take it.
I have not. Are you from the Underdark?
I am not. Now he's sort of handing out the mugs of ale. I come from the surface. I by the looks of you, I assume you are from down here?
Yes. I come from the waters.
I lay it down under. Sorry, excuse me.
The Dark Lake, then.
Yes.
And, what are you and your companions doing here? We caught you in the lava flow. Where were you headed?
It all seems to have gotten off track. We were separately, myself and Sue, and then we met the others, and then it all seems to have gotten jumbled. But we cannot return to where we came from, and, well, our next path is yet to be determined.
Aye, well, as long as you may need it, you will find succor here in the halls of King Belitaire. You are a fine warrior. The Skill God would love to have you. I know not if you have people to return to or not. I myself have tarried for quite a few months here in these halls, and they are very hospitable.
How long have you been here?
No. He kind of like smiles and looks off. Without the the stars and the sun to guide my reckoning, I must admit it does get a bit muddy for me. But some months, I believe.
And is there any water down here?
Water to drink, none deep as you may like it here in the caverns, but there's some nearby.
I should like to learn more about this community. Once we have all rested, perhaps we can attend the feast.
Ah, this is a fine feast. They are, again, a merry lot, as you saw. And our king is a good king. He looks after us, and he has grand ambitions here. I may myself one day be an emissary back to my people above to bring more knights, such as myself, to fight against the gloomy darkness that perpetuates these gloomy caverns.
Why would you bring a knight to fight darkness?
You are a master of wordplay, I see. Very well.
She looks very confused. Sure. I will need some time myself to rest while everyone is finished theirs.
Of course. The hearth of our king is always hot, and his cup always flows. But I must ask, have you come across anything strange in these caverns?
That's a
Where do I
heated
start?
question, dude.
Why would you start with that?
Yeah, you're gonna have to specify. Give a subcategory.
We have come across many strange things. In fact, perhaps the biggest thing is there seems to be something meddling with the minds of beings here. I know not if you have been to Gracklestug, but the leadership and the military there seem to be, and even the people, seem to be muddled.
I have not been to the Dwarven City, as they refer to it here, in my time. I actually myself came down here originally hunting drow. I believe you made mention of them yourselves. I made to march on Menzoberranzan, but that was not to be. Have you, in your travels, seen a huge creature, red fur, horns about its head, and eyes that burn with an eternal flame?
Is he referring to Indigo? He's very confused.
Don't worry, we handled that one.
Hey, listen. If the shoe fits.
That's what I'm like. We did know someone who became a large red furry being, but he does no longer exist.
Let's see, did this creature stand 12 feet high with hooves for feet and could gore a man just as soon as look at him?
2 of the 3.
You may be more powerful than I first anticipated. This fell beast crushed many of my companions.
Are you seeking a changeling? Someone who could become multiple forms?
No. A rather humongous fiend is what I seek. One with the power to crush the walls of castles and stop the hearts of good men.
This individual could have done that, but he would not have.
I think we may be speaking about different entities.
Perhaps.
Maybe.
I mean, for the record, like she didn't know Indigo before he became like mimicky.
No, there's a little voice in the back of Scylla's head going like, was I traveling with a fiend?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
Should
And
should we have not trusted him?
I think she's thinking that, and she's also thinking, I will spread tales of Indigo that will emphasize how great he was.
Oh,
And so
come
the
on.
two things mixing is just like bad.
We're just gonna start like so many rumors about our dead friend.
Exactly.
About
Yes.
But what
100%.
a fucking legend, then. Like, you could make anything up. It'd be hilarious.
Uh-huh.
The camera pans back to the lava river, and like an entirely unscathed hand reaches up and pulls out like a completely naked Indigo. Like, and now,
Like the end of TMNT.
I begin.
he sucker punched both heads of the Demogorgon
What?
at one time, dude.
I would just say, perhaps you should ask Sephel about the creature you are seeking. I did not know them as well.
Very well, very well. But I need not to mar your rest. Please be at ease, and I will await you in the hall when you are ready.
Thank you. She shuts the door and locks it.
Fair enough.
Fair.
Can't even be mad.
Huh. God, what a nice NPC. It's a shame we're never gonna see him again.
You
Bummer.
fool.
Thanks for sharing this like major plot point about a creature you're looking for. We
Yeah,
don't
right.
care.
Don't give a
Cool story, bro. Find somebody that gives a fuck.
Oh, sorry, Will. There goes for railroading the plot. It's over.
Yeah.
Hey, you know
Hey.
what? Fine, we'll come up with a new character for next week.
Hey, we got enough fiends on our hit list. Wait your turn, dude.
Wait your turn.
Sir, I need you to calm down.
You think you're gonna march in here, do a couple cute spells, and we're gonna bump up your backstory to top priority, bro?
Yes, again.
Oh man, I'm loving it.
Unacceptable behavior.
Oh, man. Well, you have locked the door. What are you guys doing now?
I want at least a short rest.
You can take as long or as little as you want. It's up to you. They've told you that you can come to the feast hall whenevs.
Then I guess let's just take a long rest.
Yeah,
Okay.
let's get that shit.
We'll just like trust it.
I mean, you locked the door, so like,
Yeah.
what are they gonna do?
Open it with a key. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you guys settle down into your room, hopefully more comforted with the knowledge that Sue will recover better than was expected, and you have food and you have drink and you are warm, and you have the ability to lock your own room, and you
Wow.
hope that there is nobody that will come in, but you all settle down for to rest. Is there any little rituals you guys doing, or are you all just kind of collapsing in exhaustion here?
I mean, Sephel conked out earlier, so however long that conversation went on and the healing and whatever, he's been out for that. Once his 4 hours that he needs for a long rest are up, he would just get up and... I don't know if a watch is necessary, but I guess just keep an eye on things, and sort of look over his notes, kind of proud of himself of, you know, regardless of how tired he is, that he was able to create something. But just sort of taking that small victory in the chaos that has been going on.
Yeah. Okay. It was probably about an hour with everything said and done, verging on 2 by the time Artemis left. And Scylla, is anything you know, taking off your armor or anything, or are you just kind of posting up?
I think she will when Artemis leaves, she takes off her armor and she's gonna do like a full, like, just very restful 8 hours. And I don't think that we realize, like, we really have been like go 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 go
Mhm.
go for quite a while now. And as much as they feel uncomfortable in this space, it is the safest they've been. And so it probably is like the prime opportunity for her to get in like a very restful sleep.
Yeah.
There's actually
Oh, go ahead.
there's a really surreal feeling, I think. Maybe this really doesn't occur to Sephel until after he wakes up. But however long he has been down here, like all the way from being captured by the drow, I think this is the first long rest taken in a secure, safe location. That they can lock a door, that there isn't somebody, right outside potentially hunting them, that they're not potential targets. This is the first, for lack of a better term, night's rest in the Underdark. Safe.
Yeah. Yeah, all signs kind of indicate that. And I imagine kind of like that surprise release of tension that you don't even realize sometimes you hold within your body with stress and everything. You feel that kind of drift away ever so slightly. And I imagine that allows a lot of you to really crash into that rest. And so go ahead and mark long rests on your sheets, please.
Woohoo!
Sephel still has 2 levels of exhaustion,
Sure does.
which is insane.
Yep. Sephel, so you've been awake for a little while now. You've been kind of sitting in the glory of this fact that you've created a new spell, this new power. It's now at your fingertips. And, it hasn't been too long. Are you doing anything else, or are you just kind of luxuriating in the fact that you can rest and you still feel tired and everything like that?
I think there is, in that surrealness of, finally being safe, quote unquote, it's really hard for Sephel to rest his mind at all. He's always thinking about the next step and the next strategy, the next day, the next whatever. I think against his sort of his nature, against his own neuroses, he's kind of forcing himself to be allowed to not think about what's next, to sort of take stock and look over the new spell that he made. I'm sure at one point he will take out the dragon egg and just sort of place it in front of him and stare at it, maybe even with his hands on it for just an absorbent amount of time, thinking about everything that transpired to acquire, facilitate the growth of, and transfer this egg to where it is now. I think he's just taking some much needed presence in the current moment and processing of what's occurred.
Okay. When you take the egg out and you kind of hold and connect with it, you kind of pull your hands away for a moment because it still feels extremely hot. Like when you had first kind of pulled it from the pedestal upon which it was kind of resting in the lava ever so slightly. And you feel the presence of the life within it kind of ever so vaguely touching the corners of your mind. And you feel like it's close. It's close, and if it were to find a significant heat source again, it could potentially finish hatching soon. However, a little while later, you hear the ever so faint knock at the door.
Is Scylla still resting at this point?
It's been quite a while, but as far as you know, she seems to be still asleep.
Okay. I'll approach the door, I'll unlock it, I'll open it slightly.
Okay. Outside, you see a young kobold, appears to be masculine presenting, and they kind of look up at you and they go, "I'm sorry to disturb you, my lord, but would you care for any food or drink to be brought to your room?"
Do you... Perhaps some things that would not spoil quickly. My companions could certainly use it when they awake, but they are resting at this moment.
Of course. I will return shortly. And they scurry down the hall and away.
Okay. I will close the door again.
Yeah. A little while later, probably 10 minutes or so, you hear the faint knock again, and it is the same kobold who presents a large tray filled with dried meats, what look like some kind of fruit, maybe, and what you're not sure, but it looks like these kind of shiny, almost looking like rocks, and then you realize it's beetles.
Oh, jeez.
Cooked, of course, and then a large pitcher with a couple of like stone or earthy pottery cups as well. And he goes, "Here you are, my lord. If you should need anything, find any one of us that should be about in these halls, or you may, of course, come to the great feast hall."
Thank you very much.
Of course. And he bows very deeply and then runs off.
Very weird. Sephel will...
Kindness. It's weird.
Can you blame him?
Nope.
Sephel will look over the spread and he'll sort of set it up. Whenever they wake up or whenever they need it, it's there. But he obviously doesn't partake in any of it.
Okay. Scylla, eventually you do kind of rest. Sephel's stool has awoken at some point. You see his spores kind of spurting out again, allowing you to kind of feel each other's minds. But what would you guys like to do?
I think Scylla wakes up and she starts strapping on her armor again. Sephel, where do we go from here? We had planned on going to the Grove, but that was when we had no place else.
I am unsure. I think we certainly need to take the time to recover that is necessary, but perhaps these new allies, resources, could aid us in either, I don't know, returning, surviving. I don't really know what our long-term plan is right now. I had thought to return to the surface with Indigo. And of course, you and Sue were welcome if you were willing. I wasn't going to make that choice for you. But Indigo is gone. And I am Not what I was when I came down here. I don't even know if I belong up in the world above anymore.
You do not know if you would fit in there.
Well, I certainly know I wouldn't. It's a strange thought I hadn't really considered until this point. I don't even know if returning is an option for me anymore.
Would I fit in there?
I believe so. I think it is...
You would fit in among my people.
I don't know how true that is. I understand the common confusion with certain aquatic beings. We are not the same. I don't know. I think we rest. I think we see what this place has to offer, and if nothing else, perhaps they have the resources and the numbers to help you fight for your home like you intended. Perhaps I can find one.
We will pay our respects. And to answer your question, I will see the surface. In respect for what Indigo taught me, I will see the sun.
Very well.
But now we feast?
I will look upon the feast enthusiastically while you enjoy yourself. Perhaps
Okay.
I'll find a nice kobold in the corner to devour.
No.
I would not.
That's a joke. That is
Okay.
a joke. I'm not.
Ma.
Oh. Was that a laugh?
I tried.
So did I. Let's go feast.
I hope they have fish.
So you guys gather yourselves and make your ways, kind of following the smells and the sounds of the kobolds until you eventually enter into pass through a couple of stone double doors, and you find yourselves in a very, very large and grand looking hall filled with numerous tables. Dozens of kobolds sit around and feast and at the par, and you see what look like different roasts that have been picked at and eaten while some are still relatively full. And you see Sir Laertes talking with a very adorned deep red colored kobold, while the rest have been relatively rust colored. Sir Laertes themselves is more of an orange. You see a very elegant and regal looking bluish green one standing beside the very adorned one, and then you see the the busty nurse Beatrice standing at the tables there. Artemis, do you think you are in the feast hall as well?
Yeah, I would think so. It's prime feasting hours, I would say. So Laertes is, with the men, enjoying some ale and meat.
Okay. Yeah, the doors open, you guys come in, and many of the kobolds turn to look at you all, and all of them stand actually and raise numerous stoneware tankards, and the three figures towards the head of the hall actually kind of stand up and look towards the entrance where you all stand, and the very richly adorned one reaches forward, grabs their kind of goblet and presents it and goes, "Welcome, new friends. May you find comfort, food, and drink with us. Here, 3 cheers for our new guests." And the kobolds all cheer, "Ah, ah, ah." and you see them all immediately pound their drinks back and slam them all upon the table with this resounding crack. And that's where we will leave it this episode.
Oh man, is that the time? We're overdue for another check-in with you fine listeners. Thanks as always for being here right up to the outro. We really appreciate that. You will never believe this, but we recently hit our 1-year podcast anniversary and 3,500 downloads. It's truly been a blast. We're having just a grand old time, and we look forward to another 50 episodes to come. Hopefully you join us for those next 50. That being said, we do have an exciting announcement. We have launched a coffee page. Yes, that's ko-fi page. There's no pressure to do so, but if you want to toss a coin to your witchers, that's us. You can head to ko-fi.com/themadness-table. All donations will go first toward our monthly operating costs, which include our podcast hosting software, items like that. But our ultimate dream is to be able to upgrade our setups, to be able to offer live stream recording sessions to get that sweet, sweet video content to accompany our audio. If you're not able to donate, but you want to support the show, we would just adore you if you left that 5-star review in whatever podcatcher you're currently listening in, or if you just spread the word and tell a friend. We would be eternally grateful for that support. So that's it. Until next time, when...
The madness continues.